Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would sit down and talk about my birth story that happened about 7 months ago. So I'm going to start and see what I can remember. It was 7 months ago, but it feels like seriously like yesterday. So I became pregnant in 2018 and I think at the end of March. I was 25 years old and I found out, I believe, the 28th of March is when I actually took a test and it was positive. Previously, I did go to the doctor because I knew something wasn't right. They said I actually wasn't pregnant and they did the blood test and everything and still came out negative. So I don't know what was going on and why my test didn't show up positive at the time, but here we are. So my original plan for myself when I found out that I was pregnant was right off the bat, I was like, I want a home birth. I don't want to go to the hospital at all. I just want to be at home, comfy, and welcome our baby into the world in this home. So yeah, I really wanted it to be something kind of special and unique and intimate. So, I was set on a home birth for a long time, and then after talking to my family about it and just kind of questioning myself a little bit and thinking about it for a few months into my pregnancy, I came to the conclusion that that probably wasn't the safest option for me and my family. I live about 45 minutes to an hour away from the nearest city, town, hospital. So I think it was important for me to just make sure that I had some kind of backup just in case if anything did go wrong, where would I go? So that ultimately was my deciding factor, just to be safe. So I really knew that I wanted something of the sort that was close to a home birth, but I also did not want to go to the hospital, so I opted for a birth center birth. Now at the birth center, it is basically like you're at home. It's just not your home. So it is at home feel, just not the hospital. They still have, all the midwives there. And yeah, it's just really cozy and comfy, and I really like that. So me and my boyfriend Alan, we went to go check out we went to check out one that I really, really liked in the nearest town to us. So that was about an hour away from our house. So we went to go check it out and went to the open house and asked questions and just got the ball rolling on that. So we ultimately decided that this was the route we wanted to go, and we just went to all our appointments from then on to the birthing center and just prepped. We even took I think there was like about six classes to take before you had your baby, just so that you can get prepared. Newborn classes, CPR, transferring classes just in case if you had to transfer to the hospital. They teach you on like what to do, what to expect, kind of thing. They had, I think, I'm blanking. I don't know, just a bunch of different classes that were really helpful, and I actually really kind of missed them. Gave me something to do every weekend. So we went to all those classes, and I'm just gonna fast forward here to my due date, which was projected to be November 26th of 2018, last year. That day came and went. Wow. That day came and went, and yeah, I thought he was going to be here a few days after that, but nope. He actually was a week overdue. So, fast forward to December 3rd. Let's start December 2nd. My parents were in town. My mom had a feeling, so she came with my dad, and yeah, we just waited it out. December 3rd, the day after they got here, my contractions started at 1 in the morning. I really honestly think that those contractions were very strong in my opinion. I'm not sure, but I felt like they were coming pretty quickly and frequently, and yeah, I just woke up. I did not go to sleep that whole pretty much day. Obviously, I was in labor, but yeah, so it started at 1 o'clock and went through that whole day of having these contractions. I did have a few appointments that day because I was a week overdue. So while my boyfriend went to work, my parents took me to my appointments in town, and yeah, we just went through the day. Those contractions were stopping me in my tracks, so I would have to take little breaks and just kind of breathe through them. But I honestly did not think I was in like actual labor. I don't know what I was thinking that labor was or what it looked like. I think maybe I was like thinking labor was gonna be me screaming my head off or something. But yeah, labor comes in all different shapes and sizes, and it really just, I guess, depends on your pain tolerance. So that day on the 3rd, we went to an ultrasound appointment just because I was a week overdue. They wanted to make sure that the baby wasn't super, super big. And then we went to my midwife appointment a few hours later. And that appointment was a shocker. She checked me and I was 6 centimeters. So she's like, "You're not going anywhere." I forgot to mention that I think a few days after my initial due date that I was checked, and I was, I think, 2 centimeters or something like that. So I was already dilated at that point. But on the 3rd, when I went to my midwife appointment with my parents, they said I was a 6 and that they knew how far I lived, so they told me to just stay there. And yeah, we're having a baby, so I was in labor on the 3rd, and I didn't really know it. I did, but I didn't. Baby boys on the floor. Okay, so around 3:30, my boyfriend arrived at the birthing center, and I was already checked into my room and everything. So hold on one second. So my boyfriend came to the birthing center because I had texted him at work that it's time and to come over. So that was just like, it's time kind of thing. It was crazy. It's something definitely to experience once in your life if you're a woman. Okay, so my boyfriend got there, and my parents actually went back to my house here, which is an hour away in the mountains, because we weren't expecting me to be in labor, and I literally had nothing. I didn't bring the bags for the hospital, like the hospital bags or birthing center bags, whatever you call them. I didn't bring anything for the baby. I was totally unprepared. I didn't even think that I was in labor. So my parents ran home, and they brought all of baby's stuff and clothes and my stuff for showers and anything that I was going to need. So I think it was about 6:00 p.m. that day. They decided to break my water, and I let them, and that's when things started to progress, and I was progressing rather quickly. And then at a certain point in time, I think it was around maybe like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, things started really slowing down. And I don't know if it was because I got into the tub too early or what, but things just weren't progressing for me, and I was in a lot of pain. So where was I? Yeah, so things weren't progressing, everything was going really slow, and I was just in pain. And the way I feel like I describe contractions and being in labor, it feels like tons of pressure, like more than anything, just tons of pressure. And yeah, pressure. I think it was around probably like 2 o'clock, and my midwife basically had told me that I wasn't progressing enough and that I should be transferred to the hospital. Of course, this broke my heart. Everything that I had completely ruled out in this birth kind of happened. I ended up deciding to go to the hospital, being transferred, and it was just to the point where I couldn't even open my eyes because I was so tired and in pain, and I think at a almost at a 9. So I was almost there. He just was not turning. Oh, that's what it was. He was sunny side up. So he just wasn't turning for whatever reason. And I really kind of think that being in the tub after a while kind of made me do that. So, or made him not turn because it was comfy. I don't know. So yeah, so I made the decision to go to the hospital. I was almost 9 centimeters. Nothing was happening. He was sunny side up. So a lot of things were coming into play with my decision and how in pain I was and just exhausted. So my boyfriend took me in the car and we drove to the hospital with the midwife in front of us and my parents in the back in behind us, so that way they could follow us to the hospital. And when they say that the ride to the hospital is the worst, it really is, especially how far along I was almost there. I can't imagine having like a baby in a car. Like, I totally get that pain. Oh my god, every bump just messes with the pressure of the baby coming down and it feels so crazy. So we get to the hospital and I'm in so much pain. They wheelchair me up and I'm just crying my eyes out. And I get admitted into a beautiful room, super nice, big windows, very spacious, everything. They had a little bed in there, couches and everything, so they treated me really well. When I got to the hospital, I knew right away that I wanted the epidural. My midwife at the birth center, we had discussed that's exactly what I needed to just help me relax a little bit more so the baby could turn. So yeah, I opted to get that. They already knew what was going on at the hospital, so they already had my records and all the reports from the birthing center and to get the epidural. So they had the anesthesiologist come in. That was the worst. Probably the worst experience of the whole thing. And here's why. It's because when you're in labor and as far along as I am, or I was at that point, and you're having those back-to-back contractions, it took them like 45 minutes to administer the epidural into my spine. And I could not move because I was having those contractions and they were putting the needle in my back. Oh my god, it was so painful. And it was such like torture. So I was just hugging a pillow and my boyfriend was down below and I was just crying, trying to like not cry so hard but just like focus on not freaking out because it was hurting so bad. After that epidural was all done, honestly that was exactly what I needed for my body and for my baby, because as soon as I had it I was out, like I knocked out. I was so tired. Me and my boyfriend slept for a few hours and then the nurses came and just, you know, were doing everything and checking vitals and the baby and everything. So everything was looking good. I was progressing finally, and I think it was about 11 o'clock when 11 o'clock the next day that I was finally at 10 centimeters, and they told me that I was going to be pushing soon. And yeah, so I was pushing here and there. When I say pushing, I mean like a combination of practice pushes and like real pushes and light pushes. They make you do all sorts of things, and I did that for about almost 3 hours, maybe even almost 4. And at 3:07 my baby boy was born. He was 8 pounds and 15 ounces, and I forget how long, 21, 22, something like that inches. So, whew, he was a little bit of a big baby for me, I think. I'm actually kind of like a smaller person, so I don't know. Maybe he just was too big, but I don't know. I don't really believe that when people say babies are too big, that they can't be born naturally. I think that's kind of like not true. So this little boy was born, but yeah, he was born and everything was great and gross. Yeah, and honestly, that whole hospital experience was so nice. So yeah, the hospital was great. Everyone was super nice and willing to help me out, and yeah, it was just a really great experience. I was really relaxed and cared for, and that's exactly what I really wanted. But yeah, such a relief. I was diagnosed at 36 weeks with gestational diabetes, the worst thing that could ever happen. And yeah, so that sucks. So I had to stay in the hospital for an extra couple days. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. They just wanted to make sure the baby was good and his breathing was okay. So he was perfectly fine. The hospital was pretty smooth. And yeah, my whole experience, although, you know, not of everything I wanted in my birth plan happened, but that's just the way it goes, and sometimes you just got to think about your baby and what's best for your baby and not you. So first selfless moment of being a mom, and yeah, my baby is nice and healthy. He's teething at the moment, so. Alright guys, so that is it. I really hope that you liked this video. If you have any questions about motherhood or what it's like to be a young mom or about epidurals or whatever, let me know. I could talk about this all day because it is my life now 24/7. So yeah. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.